What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jump. You know, I grew up in the 90s and I watched a lot of football at that particular time. One of my favorite players was Andre Rison. You guys know he had a relationship, I think, with Left Eye. She burned his house down and shit. And he was a really good rising star in the NFL. You know, he played for the Packers and they won the Super Bowl. And if you're from this generation, you know people like Deion Sanders, Andre Rison, you know, Eric Metcalf, people like that, you know, Craig Hayward, those kind of players in the 90s. And a lot of kids wanted to, like, receivers wanted to be like, he was one of the coldest receivers in that time, right? And it was, you know, sort of a run-heavy league at that time, but he was one of the league's best receivers despite being a smaller stature guy. However, Andre Rison has caught some slack as of recently because of his commentary regarding John Gruden. And Andre Rison, who played 1 year for the Raiders, he talked to TMZ and he said that, you know, that Gruden, despite the mistake, is a good guy. We all say some things behind closed doors that we won't regret or we wouldn't say in public. Okay. But besides that, you know, he believes that Gruden isn't a racist. All right. He says that, you know, if he, you know, made a reference about a black person, it was just that person and it wasn't intended for anybody else. Okay. Now, Gruden made comments over the years. It wasn't just that one. That one was the one that was stood out. But Gruden has said a lot of shit over the years about blacks, about gays. I watched Keyshawn Johnson say that, you know, he was a fraud. And let me just say this. I've even said it to myself. I've said things about certain people inside my community, outside of my community, whether they're joking or not, that I'm not proud of. Okay? And that wouldn't necessarily make me a person that hates, you know, this group or hate my own group or hate other people. But one thing that if I said it and got exposed for it, I know who's not going to come out and defend me. I wouldn't expect John Gruden to come out and defend me because he wouldn't. Even if he knew me, he wouldn't defend me. My question is, why is Andre Rison coming out to do this? And that's something that, like Umar Johnson, a lot of pro-blacks talk about, that kind of beta male mindset. Clearly the guy has a problem with people, groups, blacks, gays. It's obvious. But because you have a personal relationship with him, you feel like, oh, well, he's never treated me like that, so it doesn't apply to me. Let me just tell you this. They're racist. I've watched, you know, YouTube videos. And again, I don't know. Maybe I've interacted with people who were racist and didn't even know it. Just because they like you on the individual level, don't mean that. There was a guy that I saw that did the TED Talks. He actually used to go to these Klan meetings, right? And the guy who was the leader of the Klan was his best friend. He just liked this one black guy. It's happened all through history. Like, you have slave owners who actually had a preference for this maid or that worker. They liked him a lot. They just didn't like black folks. But that personal person they liked. It's very possible for you to be racist and marry somebody black. It's possible to do that. It's possible to, I mean, Halle Berry's complained about that. It's possible for you not to like somebody and marry somebody of the other race that you hate. The Portuguese did it for a long time. Recreate with people all the time. Like, how do you think a lot of African Americans have European ancestry? Those folks didn't like black people, but they would have sex with them and they would love them and they would, you know, some of them would recreate and maybe even have personal feelings. But what is it about black men, some of us, that we feel like that we need to come out to the defense of certain people that you know that they would never do the same for you? You know, you see it all the time. Like when Joe Biden came out and said that if you don't vote for me, you're not, if you vote for Donald Trump, you're not black. You had all of these black liberals coming out defending Joe Biden. Now, look at what Joe Biden is doing in his first year. Okay, so what about the HBCU funds and the $6 billion to the Afghan community? He ain't giving you nothing, right? But you came out and caped for him, and he gives you nothing. If we're going to come out and defend somebody as a black community, like John Gruden don't need, John Gruden don't need your help, Andre. He got more money than you. He got more access than you. He don't need your help to defend him. Okay? Let the people caught up in the shit defend him. Sometimes as black men, honestly, even if we feel a certain way, it's just better to be quiet. Okay? Now this is what Andre Rison said. All right? That's the most telling. Theme music. I was just in Las Vegas several weeks ago. He laid out the red carpet for me, for my wife and I. I spent a lot of time with Mark Davis. I don't see it, man. You can see it within the whole organization. There are former black Raiders that have a significant role in the organization. Stop the show. So he was nice to you and your wife. Okay. So because of that, you got black players there, black coaches there. Listen, man, if you're good, you're good, right? Let me just say this, like a lot of black people, especially a lot of black men, we think that because you're racist, you can't be hired. If you're good, right? If you're a good coach, if you're black, I don't care if you only win games, it's a business. People can separate the business from liking you. You even have gangs and Bloods and Crips. The top guys will sell each other drugs because it's about business. They ain't like they like him. It's a lot of people that we do business with that we don't like. Some of y'all are Wells Fargo customers. I don't know too many folks that like Wells Fargo. There are a lot of folks who hate Bank of America. You are not going to change Bank of America. Some of y'all got AT&T. You cannot stand AT&T, especially remember when AT&T had the iPhone, but you do business with them because that's who you got. In Uganda, if you got Umeme, everybody hates Umeme, but guess what? You got to do business with them because they're the only game in town. All right? That doesn't mean that. When you bring somebody home with your daughter, then you're going to find out. Like Hulk Hogan. Remember him? Oh, yeah, he used to love black wrestlers until, oh, don't you bring me home this person or that person, the N-word. You know what I'm talking about. And the thing about it is like, we got to get out of the fact that because we have personal people that might be a different race, they may accept you or may like you to a certain degree. Okay, that just makes, that relationship could be unique. All right? But if you're going to come out and defend people, defend your own people. All right? The black community needs people to defend itself. John Gruden in the dominant society and all the millions of dollars he got, he doesn't need you. He has publicists. Okay? He has a wealth of information available to him, retirement funds, all of that. We need to be worried about focusing on defending our group. Okay? Getting resources for our community because we can defend the dominant society when they don't need us to defend them. They don't need us to defend them. How can you defend something when they got everything already? And Umar Johnson was talking about that. Like, hey, a lot of you NFL players are out here doing all of this crap, looking like a beta. And he's right. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.